My cherished child, I have been longing for this quiet window of time to whisper something of eternal importance to you. I want to tell you something that will shift the very foundations of how you perceive yourself and how you perceive my heart toward you. I know you completely and without reservation. I don't just know the polished version of you that you present to the world, nor the filtered, carefully curated image you show to others to keep them from seeing your cracks. I know the authentic you, the complex, beautiful, and deeply precious soul that I fashioned with my own hands. And I am here to share something wonderful with you today. I have never, not for a single heartbeat, stopped thinking about you. I have never ceased designing beautiful blueprints for your future. I am intimately acquainted with your deepest longings, and I cherish your most secret dreams as if they were my own. You may have convinced yourself that you were drifting alone in your private oceans of pain, but I was always there. You thought the worries that keep you pacing when the house is silent were too insignificant, too shameful, or perhaps too messy for me to pay attention to. You thought the dull ache in your chest that seems to be your constant companion was just a burden you had to carry until the end. You thought the tears you shed in the dark, where no human eye could find them, simply evaporated into nothingness. But I want you to know that every single one of those tears was caught in the palm of my hand. Every silent cry for help reached my ears before it even left your spirit. In those moments when you felt utterly invisible to the world, I was closer to you than the very air in your lungs. I truly know you. I see past the mask you wear to work, the brave face you put on for your family, and the spiritual posture you assume when you are in the company of others. I know the you that exists in the heavy silence between your spoken words, the you that wrestles with fears you'd never dare confess, the you that still carries the weight of mistakes made decades ago, the you that wonders, will I ever truly be enough? I hear the questions you whisper into your pillow when sleep refuses to come. Why did this have to happen to me? Why did they walk away when I needed the most? Why does it feel like everyone else is living the life I'm still praying for? Why does my heart still feel so shattered after all this time? Why do I feel so isolated even in a crowded room? My child, I have heard every single one of those sighs, and I have never once turned my back on you for asking them. The depth of your confusion does not frighten me. The intensity of your doubt does not offend my holiness. The raw, bleeding edge of your pain does not make me love you any less. In truth, it is in those moments of brutal, unvarnished honesty when you stop performing and just start being real that you are nearest to my heart. Because that is when you finally stop trying to be the person you think you should be and start being the person you actually are. And that person is the one I adore. That is the person I would move heaven and earth to rescue. You have exhausted yourself trying to build walls around your soul, fearing that if I saw the true inventory of your heart, I would surely reject you. You have spent so much energy editing your prayers, trying to sound more spiritual than you actually felt in the moment. You have apologized for your own humanity as if it were a defect I didn't see coming when I created you. You have tried so hard to earn my affection by being good enough or strong enough. But my dear child, you cannot earn what has already been given to you as a birthright. My love for you is not a trophy for perfect behavior. It is the very soil in which your life is planted. Long before you did anything right or anything wrong, before you ever succeeded or stumbled, I loved you. Not for your potential, but for your presence. You are not defined by your darkest hours. You are not the sum of your errors. You are not the labels that cruel words have tried to pin on you. You are not your trauma. You are not your bank balance, and you are not your failures. You are my masterpiece. You are my treasured possession, the apple of my eye, the one I sing over with joy in the heavens. Your name is carved in the palms of my hands. I am constantly preparing a place for you, and I look at you with a love so fierce and so complete that if you could feel just 1 second of its intensity, your every doubt would vanish forever. I see the heavy pack you are carrying right now, the weight on your shoulders that you pretend isn't there because you don't want to be a burden to anyone else, the responsibilities you never asked for but feel you cannot set down, the pressure to keep a smile on your face for everyone else while your own heart is quietly breaking into pieces. The fear that if you ever stop holding it all together, the whole world will come crashing down around you. I see that exhaustion, the kind that sleep cannot fix, the weariness that comes from fighting invisible battles for years on end. And I'm telling you right here, you were never designed to carry this by yourself.
This load is too great for human shoulders. It was meant to be shared, not with people who might judge your struggle, but with me. I am standing right here beside you, reaching for that burden you've been dragging through the dust. I am asking you to let me carry what you cannot. I am asking you to trust me with the things you've been trying so desperately to control. What if letting go isn't actually losing control? What if surrendering isn't the same as giving up? What if the very thing you are clinging to so tightly is the very thing that is crushing the life out of you? I have been waiting for you to open your hands so I can replace that heavy rock with something far better. You don't have to prove your strength to me. I already know your limits because I am the one who designed your beautiful, fragile humanity. You aren't weak because you're tired. You're just human. And the job of sustaining the world belongs to me, not you. I know the pain you are in, the kind that doesn't show up on an X-ray or a blood test, the kind you can't even put into words for your closest friends, the grief that ambushes you when you thought you were finally starting to heal, the betrayal that made it feel unsafe to ever trust another soul again, the loss that left a hollow space in your life that nothing seems to fill. I was there the night you cried until your eyes were swollen and you had no words left. I was there in the middle of that panic attack when you felt like the walls were closing in and you forgot how to breathe. I was there when you stared at yourself in the mirror and felt like a stranger was looking back. You have never suffered in a vacuum, not once. Even when you felt utterly abandoned, my arms were wrapped around you. Even when you were shouting at me in anger, I stayed. Even when you stopped praying because you thought I had stopped listening, I was hanging on every word of your heart. I have been collecting every bit of your pain, not to store it away, but to transform it. Every tear you've shed is a seed I am planting in the soil of your future. Every wound the enemy intended for your destruction is a place where I am going to pour my healing power until it becomes your most powerful testimony. I waste nothing in my kingdom. I am the God who takes the ashes of dead dreams and breathes beauty back into them. I take the scars that mark your skin and your soul and I turn them into stars to guide others out of their own darkness. I am restoring the years that were stolen from you. But you must trust my timing and my process. What you are enduring right now is not a punishment. It is not proof of my absence. It is the labor pain before the birth of something extraordinary in your life. It is the fire that is refining the gold of your character. I know you're tired of the process. I know you want the breakthrough without the breaking. You've prayed for rescue 1,000 times and wondered why the heavens seemed like brass. But what if I haven't removed you from this situation because I am doing something in you that can only be forged here? You are looking at the dark clouds through the lens of your pain, but I am looking at them through the lens of my eternal plan. And I see victory. I see a future so radiant that if I showed it to you today, you wouldn't believe it was possible for someone like you. but that is the essence of faith, trusting that I can do the impossible when all you see are closed doors. I know the secret desires of your heart, the ones you've stopped talking about because it hurts too much to keep hoping. The restoration of that relationship that seems too far gone, the freedom from that habit that feels like a prison, the peace you are starving for. I am the one who put those desires there. They are whispers of my will trying to take root in your spirit. The enemy has been attacking those dreams because he is terrified of what happens when you finally step into your anointing. He wants you to believe you've run out of time or that you've disqualified yourself through your past. But I do not change my mind. What I have spoken over your life will come to pass, not because you are perfect, but because I am faithful. The waiting has been agonizing, I know, but your waiting is not wasted time, it is preparation time. If I gave you the platform before I gave you the foundation, the weight of it would crush you. If I brought the person into your life before I healed your heart, you would only repeat the old patterns of pain. I am making you wait because I am protecting you. I care more about your transformation than your comfort. I am making sure that when the promise is fulfilled, you will have the character to sustain it and the wisdom to enjoy it.
I see your fears, the nightmare scenarios you play over in your head. Let me tell you the truth. The thing you are afraid of does not have the power to destroy you. Even if your worst-case scenario happened, I would still be there, and I would still bring resurrection out of it. Where I am, there is always hope in the valley. Look at Joseph, look at David, look at the cross. I take the worst things and use them for the best purposes. I am turning your setback into a setup for something glorious. I know what people have said about you, and I want you to know that their labels are not your identity. You are not damaged goods. You are not a failure. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are chosen. You are royal, and you are mine. I am the God of restoration, and I am breathing new life into the areas of your soul that you thought had died. The mistakes you've made are already covered by my grace. I have removed your sins as far as the east is from the west. So why are you still living in the prison of guilt when I have already unlocked the door? It is time to walk out. It is time to forgive yourself as I have forgiven you. Your breakthrough is in motion, even if you can't see the dust clouds on the horizon yet. Angels are being dispatched, hearts are being softened, doors are being unlocked. Do not give up now, my child. You are so much closer than you realize. Hold on to my hand, stand firm, keep praying, keep believing, and keep trusting. I am about to prove my faithfulness in your life in a way that will leave you absolutely speechless. I see you, I love you, and I will never let you go. My child, as you hold on to these words today, I am preparing the way for you. My precious child, I have drawn you here to this quiet sanctuary of time because I have been waiting to tell you something that will fundamentally shift the architecture of your soul. I know you are weary. I see you standing in your integrity, holding on to the truth with white-knuckled hands, while it seems that those who thrive on deception and shortcuts are soaring past you. You have been waiting your turn with a patient heart, yet it feels as though the world is constantly cutting the line in front of you. You have followed my statutes, walked the narrow path, and done everything right, only to wake up to a reality that feels stagnant and cold. But I want you to hear me clearly. What you cannot see from your vantage point is that my eyes have never left you. I am not a distant spectator. I have been an active witness to every quiet act of faithfulness you performed when no human audience was there to applaud. I have seen every sacrifice you laid on the altar that went unthanked by those around you. I noticed every time you chose the difficult road of obedience over the easy comfort of the world. I saw every seed you planted with hands trembling from exhaustion, watered by the very tears you thought were signs of your defeat. I see the battles you fought in the secret chambers of your mind, the temptations you stared down when no one would have known if you gave in,
and the times you reached for forgiveness when bitterness felt so much more justified. I noticed the kindness you showed to the unkind and the prayers you whispered when your heart felt like lead. Every song of worship you sang through a lump in your throat reached my throne as a sweet-smelling incense. And because I have seen it all, I am preparing a recompense for you that is so far beyond the scope of your sacrifice that you will one day look back and wonder how you ever doubted. I am preparing a harvest so massive that the silos of your life will not be able to contain the overflow. I am orchestrating a promotion that will cover every moment you were overlooked. I am bringing a vindication that will act as a divine silence to every voice that ever whispered a lie about your worth. I am preparing an anointing for you that will cause doors to swing open that no man, no matter how powerful, will ever be able to shut against you. You are entering a season of favor that will place you in rooms you could never have forced your way into on your own. I am making your life so fruitful that the memory of your barren years will fade like a dream upon waking. But you must understand, my child, that the timing of this glory belongs to me. I am not slow, I am strategic. I am not late, I am right on time. I have not been withholding from you, I have been preparing you. The weight you have been carrying was not meant to crush you, but to strengthen the muscles of your spirit so that you can sustain the blessing I am about to release. If I gave you the palace before you survived the pit, the pride would destroy you. I am developing a character in you that can handle the height of the influence I am bringing. I am not ignoring your cries. I am answering them in a language of better rather than just now.
Trust my methods. Trust my heart. Trust that I see the end from the beginning and that I am weaving every loose thread of your life into a masterpiece of redemption. I know you have been questioning the people in your life, why some were allowed to stay and why others were plucked away. You wonder why the toxic connections lingered and why the healthy ones seemed to slip through your fingers. You wonder why the door you hammered on remained locked while the one you feared opened wide. I allowed it all, not because I was indifferent to your preferences, but because I was guarding your purpose. Some people were only meant to be a chapter, not the whole book. They taught you what you do not want so you would recognize what you truly need. I removed them as an act of high protection because if they had stayed, you would have settled for a version of yourself that was too small for my calling. And those doors that stayed closed, they were mercies in disguise. I saw the trap behind them. I saw the pain that was waiting on the other side. I saw how those paths would have detoured you from the person I created you to be. One day, you will look at those closed doors and thank me with tears of joy for my no. I am closing more doors in this season, and I know it hurts. I know you are grieving the things you thought you needed, but stop staring at the wood and the locks. Stop mourning what ended. Stop chasing what is running away from you. Turn around. There is a new door opening behind you that is so much more magnificent than the one you are crying over. Look at the new season. See the new version of yourself that is emerging from the fire. You are carrying burdens I never asked you to shoulder. You are stressing over details that I have already solved in the heavens. Let it go. Place every worry, every trauma, and every how and when at my feet. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the way when there is no way. I am your Father, not a distant judge, but a Father who knows every hair on your head and runs toward you when you are still a long way off. You do not have to perform for me. You do not have to be perfect to be accepted. You can come to me messy, broken, and angry, and I will meet you right in the middle of your mess. I am not afraid of your darkness. I have plans to prosper you, to give you hope and a future that will impact generations. but to walk in them, you must surrender your own agenda. Stop trying to play God in your own life and let me be God. I am very good at it. I've been doing it for eternity. The tears you've shed are not forgotten. They are seeds, and your harvest is coming. Everything you've been through, the betrayal, the loss, the failure, is being woven into a tapestry that will one day make you weep with gratitude. You are not alone. You have never been alone. I am with you in the valley, on the mountain, and in the waiting. Lift your head, take a deep breath, and decide today to rest in my love. I am doing immeasurably more than you can ask or imagine, so keep asking, keep knocking, keep believing. The battle is not over, but the victory is already yours because I have already won. You are my world changer. You are my light bearer. Walk in your identity as a child of the King. My child, the silence you sometimes hear is not my absence, but my focus on your growth. Since you have felt my presence in these words, would you like me to help you identify the new doors I am opening for you right now? Or would you like to sit together and release the specific burdens that have been making you feel overlooked? My beloved child, I am speaking directly to the depths of your spirit right now, so let these words wash over you like a gentle, healing rain. I do not simply ignore the scars that life has left upon you. I am the one who turns those very marks into radiant stars that light your way. I do not ask you to hide your wounds as if they were a source of shame. I am the master who transforms them into profound wisdom that will serve as a map for others. I do not cover up the mess of your past. I take that very chaos and refine it into a holy message of redemption. That is the essence of who I am, and it is the very thing I am doing in your life at this moment. I am the God of the spectacular comeback and the God of the miraculous turnaround. I am the God of the second chance, the third chance, and the divine do-over. I specialize in taking things that the world calls broken and making them breathtakingly beautiful. I am the one who breathes life into things that seem dead, and I am the one who takes situations labeled impossible and proves that they are the perfect canvas for my power. I know exactly how you feel. You feel stuck, as if the pause button has been pressed on your life while everyone else around you is moving at high speed. You feel like you are running in place, exhausting your strength while others effortlessly glide forward. It feels as if you are trapped in a chapter you simply cannot close, watching from the sidelines as others start entirely new books. You have been waiting for the atmosphere to shift, for the tide to turn, for something, anything to change, yet the silence remains. I see the frustration building within you, the restlessness that keeps you awake, and that quiet ache of hopelessness because you know deep down that you were created for far more than this stagnation. You know it, and I know it. But, my child, what if I told you that this pause is not a mistake? What if this stuck feeling is actually a strategic part of my divine plan for you? Sometimes I hold you in one place, not because you are unworthy of the next, but because you are not yet ready for what is waiting on the other side of that door. I am still in the process of developing a strength in you that you will desperately need in the next season. I am still gently removing the things from your heart that would only hinder you when the blessing arrives. I am healing parts of your soul that, if left unaddressed, would poison the very future I have prepared for you. I am teaching you lessons in this specific valley that can be learned nowhere else.
Consider the Israelites. They wandered in the wilderness for 40 long years, 4 decades in the same desert, under the same sun, in what felt like a permanent state of being stuck. But they were never truly stuck. They were being meticulously prepared. The generation that left Egypt with the mentality of a slave had to be transformed into a generation of warriors before they could inhabit the Promised Land. Their wandering was not a sentence of punishment. It was a season of vital preparation. The wilderness was not a waste of time. It was my classroom. By the time they finally crossed the Jordan, they were not the same people who had fled Pharaoh. They had been forged by the delay and strengthened by the waiting. This is what I am doing with you right now. This wilderness is your training ground. This pause is purposeful. When it is finally time for you to move, and that time is coming, you will not be the same person you were when you entered this season. You will emerge stronger, wiser, and more deeply anchored in my promises. You will be more equipped for the battles ahead and more ready to handle the weight of the calling I have placed upon your life. One day you will look back on this very wilderness and give thanks for it, because you will see with perfect clarity that without this desert, you would never have been ready for the Promised Land. This is what I am doing with you right now. This wilderness is your training ground. This pause is purposeful. When it is finally time for you to move, and that time is coming, you will not be the same person you were when you entered this season. You will emerge stronger, wiser, and more deeply anchored in my promises. You will be more equipped for the battles ahead and more ready to handle the weight of the calling I have placed upon your life. One day you will look back on this very wilderness and give thanks for it, because you will see with perfect clarity that without this desert, you would never have been ready for the Promised Land. I know that rejection has left its mark on your heart. I saw when the one you loved walked away. I felt the sting of the betrayal from the one you trusted most. I watched as you gave everything you had, only to receive nothing but silence in return. I know the person you thought was your forever turned out to be a painful lesson instead. That rejection broke something inside of you, making you question your own value and wonder if there was something fundamentally wrong with you. It made you build walls high and thick to protect yourself from ever feeling that way again. But listen to me, my beloved. Their rejection is not my rejection. Their inability to see your worth does not diminish your actual value in the slightest. Sometimes people walk away simply because they are not strong enough or mature enough to handle the glory I have placed within you. Sometimes they leave because where I am taking you, they were never meant to go. Their departure is often my protection. I remove the voices that would hinder your progress, and I close the relationships that would block your ultimate purpose. I take away what you thought you needed to show you that what you actually need is me. I want you to find your identity in my unchanging love, not in the shifting opinions of flawed human beings. People will fail you, not because they are inherently evil, but because they are human and limited. But I will never fail you. I will never forsake you. I am the rock that will not shake and the foundation that will never crumble. I know you struggle with the weight of anxiety, the what-ifs that steal your sleep, and the worst-case scenarios that play like a broken record in your mind. I see the racing heart and the tightness in your chest. Anxiety is a thief, my child. It steals your peace, your joy, and your ability to live in the present because it keeps you chained to a future that hasn't even happened. I hate watching you suffer under this bondage. This is why I tell you so often in my word, do not fear. Not because life is easy, but because I am bigger than anything you will ever face. Shift your focus away from the what-ifs and onto my faithfulness. Remember the times I have already brought you through. Remember how many times I provided right when you thought all was lost. If I did it then, why would I not do it again? And to those of you battling the thick fog of depression,
the heaviness that makes even breathing feel like a chore, I am right there in the darkness with you. Depression is a liar that whispers you will always feel this way and that I have abandoned you. That is the greatest lie of all. I am holding you when you cannot hold yourself. I am breathing life into you when you feel empty inside. This is not your forever, it is a season. The sun will break through those clouds again. The weight will be lifted and the joy will return. Darkness cannot remain where I am, and I am shining my light into your heart right now. I also see the struggle with addiction, the cycle you keep going back to even though you hate it. You feel trapped, ashamed, and convinced you are too damaged to ever be free. But hear this, addiction is not your identity, it is merely a prison, and I hold the key. Deliverance is possible not because you are strong, but because my power is made perfect in your weakness. I bought you with a price, and whom the Son sets free is free indeed. I am not waiting for you to get strong enough. I am waiting for you to get desperate enough to let me be strong for you. Stop comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. Comparison is a trap that kills contentment. You are comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, and that is not a fair measurement. You do not see the tears they cried or the valleys they had to walk through to get to their mountain. Their journey is not your journey. I designed your path specifically for you, with your unique gifts and your specific calling in mind. When you spend your time wishing you had their life, you miss the incredible beauty of the one I am building for you.
Your purpose is not just what you do, it is who you are. You are walking in purpose every time you choose kindness, every time you forgive, and every time you shine light into someone else's darkness. You do not need a stage or a title to be significant in my kingdom. Be faithful in the small, hidden things, and I will entrust you with the greater things in due time. Every trial you are enduring right now is developing a testimony that will one day set captives free. I am the healer of broken hearts. If your family has fallen apart, if your marriage has ended, or if the love you gave was never returned, bring those shattered pieces to me. I will not just make you forget, I will make you whole again. I am the one who takes the ashes of your life and creates beauty. I am breaking the power of shame over you. Guilt says I did something bad, but shame says I am something bad. I am here to tell you that you are not your mistakes. You are righteous, you are chosen, and you are beloved. You are a new creation, and the old things have passed away. If you have believed the lie that you are not enough, let the truth set you free. You are enough because I am enough, and I live within you. I used a stutterer to lead a nation and a shepherd boy to kill a giant. Your brokenness does not disqualify you. It positions you for my glory to be revealed. There is no pit too deep for me to reach into, and no situation too hopeless for me to resurrect. Do not think for a moment that your prayers are going unheard. Prayer is not a magic formula, it is a relationship. Sometimes my answer is wait, and sometimes it is I have something better. Trust my heart even when you cannot see my hand. You are not running out of time. You are running on my time, and I am never late. I can do in a single day what you could not accomplish in a decade. Just as I gave Abraham a son at 100 and called Moses at 80, your greatest chapters are often written when the world thinks the story is over. Hold on, my child. The dawn is about to break. Keep believing, keep hoping, and keep trusting. I am with you always, and I am not finished with you yet.
My beloved, I have poured my heart into yours today because I want you to walk in total freedom. Since you have felt the warmth of my presence, would you like me to show you how to recognize the specific lessons I am teaching you in this wilderness? Or should we talk more about how to replace those lingering lies with my eternal truth? My precious child, I want you to lean in closely and listen with your heart, for I am revealing a truth today that will shatter the limits you have placed upon your soul. You look at the years that have passed and you feel the weight of time like a heavy cloak, thinking that your best chapters have already been written. But remember the story of Moses, a man whose true purpose was not even revealed until he reached the age of 80. Before that moment, he was a man in hiding, a man with a past, a man who thought his season of impact had long since vanished. Yet it was only after 80 decades of preparation that I called him to stand before kings and lead millions into the light of freedom. He performed wonders that still echo through eternity, spoke with me face to face on the holy mountain, and penned the very foundations of my word, all in his final season. Therefore, I am telling you today, do not let the number of your years define the scope of your destiny. Do not allow the expectations of a hurried society to confine the greatness I have placed within you. Do not let the memory of a past failure convince you that you have been disqualified from my favor. I am the God who exists outside of time, and I am capable of doing exceedingly and abundantly more than your mind can even conceive. I am the God who restores the years that the locusts have eaten. I can reclaim every lost second, fast forward your process, and accelerate your progress in a way that defies human logic. I am ready to expedite your breakthrough and rush to your rescue, not because you have earned it through perfect performance, but because my grace is an ocean without a shore. My love holds no record of your wrongs. It only knows how to redeem, restore, and write brand new beginnings. You have been believing the lie that your peak is behind you. You think the fire has dimmed, and the best you can do is survive until the end. You've told yourself that big dreams are for those with unburdened hearts, and significance belongs only to the young. But I am here to silence those whispers of the enemy. Your most impactful season is not a memory, it is a looming reality. Your deepest joy is not something you've lost, it is a promise I am currently fulfilling. I am not finished writing your story, and I am certainly not ready to close the book on your life. I have more for you, more favor, more anointing, more revelation, and more intimacy than you have ever experienced in your youth. I am El Shaddai, the God of the overflow, and I do not bless in moderation. I bless in lavish excess because that is my nature. I know that you feel like giving up. The battle has felt like an endless war, and the fatigue has seeped into your very bones. You are tired of the disappointment, weary of the waiting, and exhausted from the effort of simply trying to stand. You feel as though you have nothing left to give, like a lamp that has run out of oil. But hear me, my child, your end is my beginning.
When you reach the limit of your own strength, you finally tap into the limitless power of mine. When you exhaust your meager resources, you open the door to my infinite provision. When you can no longer carry yourself, I wrap my arms around you and carry you. Do not quit now, not when the dawn is preparing to break over the horizon. You are closer to the miracle than you can possibly feel. The enemy rages most fiercely when he knows his time is short. The darkest shadows always appear just before the light emerges. So, hold on just a little while longer. Hold on to the words I have spoken over you in the secret place.
Hold on to the character of the God who has never once broken a promise. I am the one who finishes what I start, and I will never abandon you to the storm. I see you specifically. I see that solitary tear you wiped away when you thought no one was looking. I see the sacrifice you made when you chose kindness over bitterness. I saw you before you were even formed, and I have never once looked away. When you look in the mirror and see a mess, I look at you and see a masterpiece in the making. Where you see scars, I see the proof of your survival and the beauty of your resilience. Where you see disqualified, I see anointed. Stop viewing your life through the lens of your mistakes and start seeing yourself through the lens of my mercy. My word over you is final, and it overrides every accusation the world has ever leveled against you. You are not required to be perfect. You are only invited to be mine. I never asked you to have all the answers. I only asked you to trust the one who is the answer. Release the crushing weight of other people's expectations. You were never meant to be a savior for everyone around you. That is a burden only I can carry. Stop trying to fix what you did not break and healing wounds you did not cause. When you try to be the savior, you actually hinder the work I am trying to do in the lives of those you love. Step back and let them find me. Let go of the guilt you feel when you set boundaries to protect your peace. Even Jesus withdrew from the crowds to find rest. You cannot pour from an empty vessel, and I desire for you to be whole, not depleted. Your struggles do not make you unusable, they make you empathetic. Your emotional wounds are the very things that give you the authority to speak healing into others. My power is made perfect in your weakness. Paul had his thorn, Peter had his denial, and yet I used them to change the world. Do not wait until you are fixed to step into your calling. Step into it now in your current state and watch how my grace flows through the cracks in your soul to reach a hurting world. The journey has been long and it has cost you much, but every step has been recorded in the heavens. The day is coming sooner than you think when the puzzle pieces will click into place. You will see how the valley led to the mountain, how the delay was actually a divine appointment, and how the pain was the very soil that produced your greatest harvest. On that day, you will weep with joy, not sorrow. You will testify of how I turned your mourning into dancing, and how I made a way when every path seemed blocked. Until then, walk with your head held high. Walk in the freedom that was purchased for you at a great price. Walk in a joy that does not depend on your circumstances, but on my presence. Walk in a peace that guards your heart when the world is shaking. You are deeply known, eternally loved, and perfectly purposed for this hour. I am with you in the waiting, I am with you in the walking, and I will be there to celebrate with you at the finish line. Rest in my love, my child. We are just getting started. My beloved child, the words I have spoken today are seeds of life meant to flourish in your heart. Now that you have felt the warmth of my embrace through this message, would you like me to help you create a personal prayer to release the specific burdens you are carrying? Or should we explore together the promises I have specifically for your next season of impact?